Welcome to Dreams in Motion Podcast,
DreamsInMotion.com,
an organization established to provide assistance to members of the global community as they strive to achieve goals in the areas of education, career, travel, and wellness. For more information concerning Dreams in Motion itself, please visit our website, DreamsInMotion.com, DreamsInMotion.com. Let's now turn to the hosts of today's program.
She's not. Okay.
Oh,
So, Saif, what did you do today?
that
Saif,
means she's very angry.
What is that?
Probably.
I said, what did you do today, Saif?
Oh, I got up very late and I went to the valley with my friends and we had a really great time.
Okay, you went to where with your friends? To the...
Valley,
Wow.
yes, we have a big valley and yes, I went there and we had a great time. And now
Oh.
in the evening I came back home.
Okay, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So you had a chance to go outdoors with your friends and kind of hang out, huh?
You know what? Fridays is a weekend for us, and the day for us is rest. We can go and take our time, and we can have a fresh air, and we can do many things in this day because other days we are very busy.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I think everybody needs to get away sometimes to get some fresh air. It can be very good for you. Very, very good. Could you imagine, say, if you'd never had a day off, if 7 days a week you worked every day? Can you imagine that? Huh?
No. I don't think in the world someone work full week. It's very exhausting, I think.
Well, I will say there are people that work 7 days a week, okay? There are, okay? Now, I'm not saying that they do it for their entire life, but I would say I would agree. People need time off. That's true. That's very, very true. So we have Jamila and Johnny are both here. So hello to both of you.
Hello, Rick.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey there.
And we also have Peter here. Hey, Peter. Peter, are you here? Hello, Peter.
Hello, Rick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. What are you up to? What did you do today?
It was last working day of the week. Just the usual working day.
Okay. So the last working day of the week, so you just worked, huh?
Yes, I ended my work. Now I'm at home.
So now you have the weekend to relax, huh?
Yes, it's today of weekend.
Well, good for you. Good for you. You know, it's so funny, right? When we talk to so many people from different places, some people worked on Friday, some people had Friday off, right? It's very interesting.
It's because in different countries
Yes.
there are different off days.
Yep, that's very true. Very, very true. Can you imagine? This is why it's so difficult when you organize like an international company. You have to say, okay, in some countries, people have the day off. In other countries, they're going to work. It makes it very complicated sometimes, huh?
Yes, obviously.
Okay, and we have Rose here. So, hey, Rose.
Hi.
Hey,
Good
Rose.
morning.
Good
There,
evening.
thank you. Thank you.
How are you?
Hope you all are doing good. I'm fine, thanks. How are
Good.
you?
Doing good, thank you. Doing good. Nice to hear that.
So now.
So for you, in your country, Friday is off day. So what did you do today in your off day?
Well, to do, I had kind of busy day. I And since morning I got up, I prepared breakfast, then I cooked lunch, then I did the dishes, then I did the laundry, then I
Oh.
ironed some clothes, practiced some music. Then I received some guests, and then again I practiced music, and again here I am now.
Oh my gosh. So for an off day, it sounds like you were very, very, very busy, huh?
Yeah, actually, I can say that my weekend is almost more busy than my working days. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because during the week, when I get to work, I have an excuse. Okay, I've been working since morning till afternoon, so now I will give myself a little bit time for rest. But at the weekend, I said, okay, I was not working in the morning, so I have to work. Something like that.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I hope you find some time just to do nothing, just to escape or do something that's not related to your work, that's not related to working at home or working at your other job. Okay?
Thank
I
you.
hope so. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have Thomasy here. Hey, Thomasy, how are you?
Hello, Richard.
How's it
I'm
going?
fine.
Okay,
I'm
good.
fine.
Good. And I think for you, today, Friday, is also an off day, right?
Yes, it's off today.
Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
what did you do today?
Uh, really, today I'm relaxed and I enjoy with my children. And I try to go to shopping to collect my needed for all the week. So
Oh,
this is the only one day off. So I try to manage this day.
okay, good.
Okay, so
Good, good, good. So on
okay.
the on your off day, you basically spend time with your children, and then you try to prepare for the following week by doing all your shopping, etc. Right?
Exact.
Okay, good. Well, good for you. Good for you. I think. I don't know. At least spending time with the children is important, right?
Yeah, really. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that. So, very interesting. So, I think, let me see, Peter, for you is an off day because, or no, for you is a work day. For you, it's a work day because you're in Russia. And I think for Johnny and Jamila, myself, pretty much every day can be a work day. There's no such thing as an off day. Okay. And I think everybody else, it sounds like, either enjoyed themselves, got some time away, or did other things that they needed to take care of. So good, good, good. Hey, Samir, are you here?
Of course, I'm here. How are you, Richard?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
Okay, nice to hear that. Nice to hear that.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and again, please, if people are not speaking, if you can make sure your microphones are muted so that we don't have this noise. We're recording this. Johnny is actually streaming it live on YouTube, but we're also recording it as well. So the quality is pretty important when we do these kind of sessions. So I would really say thank you in advance for, helping to keep the noise down. What we're going to do for those that participated on Wednesday and Thursday, the past couple of days, you know what we were talking about? We were talking about leadership and leadership qualities and the type of leaders that we are. So today we're going to have a little bit more of a detailed discussion. And today I'm going to go ahead and ask people specifically to give me some examples of leadership that they have provided. We had a little talk yesterday. I think, Abir, you brought up some things that you've done in the past. And so we're going to talk some more about that. And I would also like to hear people provide feedback to each other on areas that they think they can help on. So if people have advice, I think we had a question yesterday. I think Mary, in one of our role-playing scenarios, was asking about how, I think, Abir, when she was working with you and the team, she was asking some questions about, well, what if, for example, somebody's not doing something right? How do you communicate with them so you don't make them feel bad, but also get your point across for them to improve their performance. So that was I think that was a good question, and I think you provided some feedback, good feedback to her. So that's what we're going to do today. So today is more of a general discussion. I don't really want it to be all about Rick speaking. I really want it for you guys to speak. And again, I know some of you have already said some things. Please feel free to, some of you were not here. So some people that are here today were not able to hear what you said. So I think some of the things you said were important and bear repeating. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And we will begin. We'll begin with volunteers who would like to open up, first of all, and the 3 or 4 key points. 1, what kind of leader do you think you are? Okay. What kind of leadership style you think is most effective based upon the situation? And then talk about some specific experiences you've had in leadership and, you know, maybe things that you found worked right, things that you think didn't work so good. Okay, because we want this to be an interactive discussion, not just one person speaking. So we want it to be interactive. And then tomorrow, just so you guys know, tomorrow we're going to have a debate on this topic, and we're going to be discussing whether leaders are born or made. So what that means is are leadership skills innate? Are we born with those skills, or are they skills that we can develop? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow in the debate. So today's going to be a little bit more just, you know, like I said, discussion and amplifying on the things we talked about the past couple of days. Okay. So who would like to go ahead and begin? Who would like to be the first person? Give me 1 second, please. Okay, no volunteers. Come on now.
Hello. I have something in my mind, but I'm not quite sure that I'm prepared or not because I just read the topic. I just saw the topic in the link, and I am not well prepared. But I think I've got something to say.
Okay, sure. Go for it.
Okay, I think for a leader must have some qualities like, first of all, a leader must cooperate with other members of her or his team. He must be flexible, or let's say she, because I am a she. So, she must be flexible. At times she needs to compromise, but at some cases she needs to be assertive and just make the other members of the team just to obey and listen to her. Sometimes the age matter. Sometimes we need a leader to be older than the other members. In the case that she must be more experienced, perhaps an older leader might be more experienced. I mean, in the eye of the other member of the group, it might seem so. I have some experience in a leadership. I remember when I was a university student, I was a leader of a religious group. And back on that time, I was the older person because I was a master degree students, and the other people were bachelor degree student, and we had kind of intimacy among us, and as well as being obedient, and they were listening to me, and all in all, I think a leader at the same time she must be assertive and flexible and caring sometimes. And that's it.
Okay,
That's
Okay. Very, very important points you brought up. So let me ask you, I mean, what have you been, you say you've already worked in a position of leadership in the past. What were your biggest challenges in leadership? What were the biggest challenges you faced in being a leader?
Well, our group is what because it was a religious group, so we had girls group and boys group.
Uh-huh.
I was the leader of the girls group, and there was another guy who was the leader of the boys group, and we had kind of conflicts all the time because he was kind of very religious and very strict, and all the time that we wanted to talk, he was kind of avoiding, and we couldn't communicate as much as I expected, so we couldn't solve our issues and problems related to the university. So we also had a kind of principal ahead of the group. I think the biggest problem was because I had the problem with the guy. Other than that, with the other members of the group, either they were guys or girls, I didn't have any kind of other problem. Just cooperating with the other leader.
Okay.
That's it.
So you bring up a really interesting point, and I had actually written something down before we started the discussion, and you kind of brought it up anyway, indirectly. So what role do you think gender plays in leadership? And I think this is a legitimate question. So you have some leaders like, for example, politicians like Merkel, right, in charge of Germany, right? Very powerful. You've had, very strong leadership of both genders, right? Men and women both. But do you see, from a gender standpoint, that there are qualities maybe that, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to stereotype, okay, I guess maybe it's the right way to say it, but do you see certain qualities maybe that female leaders display more than male leaders or vice versa?
Well, I think because ladies usually pay more attention to details, perhaps they see more flaws in a teamwork or in any kind of program. So because they focus on details, there might be a little bit priority, or it might be more benefactory if a leader, above of all the members, the leader be a lady.
Okay.
Things will be better managed. I think so.
Okay. Interesting perspective. Very interesting.
I don't know.
Well, no, but I think this is all about, that's why we have this discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rick, I can give you an example. Okay,
Sure.
Usually, mostly, consider a home as a pattern of a small pattern of a bigger society. Okay, so if the leader of the house is a wife, everything is settled down. Everything is good, organized. Kids go to school on time. The lunchtime is, well settled. Everything is organized. But when the father of the family is going to manage the schedule, he will definitely need a help. Everything is not as organized as when the lady is the leader. That's what I think we will see in our societies, in our everyday life. It was an example.
Yeah,
very,
very interesting perspective. Oh my gosh, we could probably spend 2 hours just talking about this. So, okay, no, and again, everybody, that's your opinion based upon your experience and then based upon your observations, and everybody's entitled to say what they believe. So, Saif says that's not true. Saif, why do you?
There are perhaps some exceptions.
So, Saif,
Yeah.
why do you disagree with that? Why do you disagree with what Rose said? Saif? Oh my gosh, Saif, you're going to type. You're not going to speak. Okay, Johnny.
Hello? Yes, hello.
Okay, go ahead, Saif. Tell us why you disagree.
She says that when the man is, I think she thinks that the woman is who is really boss at the house, and I don't think that it is true, because there is a difference in opinion. We have different thinking, and sometimes husband and wife, they have different thinking. When sometimes a man controls the house, everything can be good, and sometimes it is a woman. So it depends on which person is good.
Okay, okay, okay. So that's your opinion. So Johnny, you also have an opinion on this. Well, why do you disagree with what Rose said?
Yeah, well, my take on that and what she said is that. Uh, do I get feedback from you?
Huh? What's
Hello?
that? Yeah, we're
Okay,
here,
okay.
Johnny.
I
Okay, go ahead.
just heard some feedback. Um, I would say that she might be true in when in that household the woman is a good mother. I have seen very terrible mothers who cannot keep their house in check. I mean, in order, or they're not very good at it. I would say that if we go with that kind of analogy of a house, I would say that it have to be a teamwork. Everything will run smoothly and in order if both of them are in the same page. If both of them work together and can solve problems. I don't think that it would rely on only just one person, uh, because we are not perfect. We are all fallible. We can make mistakes. Um, Women also make mistakes. We men also make mistakes. But the point is how to put our two heads together and try to find the solution for that. So I would say that it depends on the person. I don't think it is a matter of gender.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Johnny. So, you also disagree. Why do you disagree?
Hello.
Hey, So.
Hi, everyone. Yeah. I can hear my voice also. Okay. I disagree because it's because of the man. Man is smart. When he's out the house, he used to say you're the boss because he makes you think that you are the boss. Because it's all about division of work. He works outside and you work inside the house. So this is what I think. So he makes you think that you're the boss, but you're not. Thank you.
Oh, how about if
I'm
the
sorry.
go ahead,
I'm
Rose.
sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
have
Go ahead.
to mention something.
Okay, go ahead.
The definition of boss and being bossy is something different from leader and the leadership. So I think there is a misunderstanding between the boss and the leader. Someone can be the leader, but not the boss. I mean, not bossy. So I want to differentiate between these two words. Okay, perhaps they got my idea wrong.
So
My
Yeah.
what is the
opinion.
boss? Can you please clarify what's the boss? Because
As an
maybe I don't
example,
know English.
boss is
Yeah.
okay. Actually, there are two kind of boss. Actually, a boss can be a leader, and a boss can be a boss. Okay, then the boss will tell you what to do and what not to do uh, officially, and you are not going to disagree. You have to listen anyhow, anyway. But the leader is a part of the member of the group, but he or she will tell you it's my idea, of course. I don't know, that's my idea, but the leader is a part of the group, is a part of the group of the body, but he just lead the people in the right path. He is not trying to tell you what to do or what not to do, okay, forcefully, just trying to show you the path. I think that's the difference between the boss and the leader. You
Okay.
know,
Okay, that's
Can I take my
go ahead, Samir. Go ahead, tell us what you think. Go
yeah
ahead.
to talk about the difference between leadership and management? أدخل.
Yeah, go ahead, Samir. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Okay, first of all, to know the difference between leadership and management, to know what the managers do and what the leaders do. I think the word leader and manager are among the most commonly used words in business and are often used interchangeably. But have you? But so first of all, what is the work of the manager? A manager is the member of an organization with the responsibility of carrying out and has important function of management, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. But if the manager can be a leader, that's the question. Most managers are also wanna be leaders, but they aspiring by the leadership responsibilities of management, which include communication, motivation, and providing inspiration and guidance. So they encouraging employees to rise the higher level of productivity. So unfortunately, not all managers are leaders. Some managers have poor leadership qualities and employees follow order from their managers because they are obligated to do so, not necessarily because they are influenced or inspired by our leaders. And now we need to know what the leaders do. The primary difference between management and leadership is that leaders don't necessarily hold or occupy a management position, because a leader doesn't have to be an authority figure in an organization. So leaders are followed because of their personality, behavior, and beliefs. A leader personally invests in tasks and projects and demonstrates a high level of passion for work. Leaders take a great deal of interest in the focus of their followers. So there isn't always tangible or formal power that a leader possesses over his followers. So I think the difference is the managers can't be a leader and the leaders can be a manager. That's the difference, I think, because of the behavior of responsibility and the personality. This is my opinion.
Okay. So Mary, you bring up a really good point, and I'm glad you said that, because I think when I look at this, of course, I don't have all the answers. It's my opinion, but it's based upon my experience. So I look at a manager and a leader as positions. They're positions in a company, or they're positions in an environment. Maybe it's an academic environment or something. Okay, whatever it is, they're positions. I look at management skills and leadership skills as something that either a manager can have or a leader can have, right? Because what you said is very true, I think. Okay, so a good, to me, an effective manager. We talked about this yesterday. An effective manager will also have leadership skills in addition to management skills. So planning.
Also, the managers want all the time to be a leader, and the opposite is incorrect.
Well, yeah, I think a manager, like you said, I'm just repeating some things you said, he is responsible for executing a strategy at a company level, right? So they're the ones at the very top that say, okay, if I'm the manager of a car company, my primary role as a manager of a car company is obviously to produce and sell cars, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm the leader in that same car company, that's my position. My idea or my primary objectives are to work with the employees of that company, or maybe the people that are assigned to me, to help develop, and recommend to the manager the future vision of that company. Okay, so they are skills, leadership skills and management skills are separate from being a manager or a leader. Those are positions. Okay, so when we talk about things like the ability to influence people, inspire people, those are things that we think in terms of the leadership skills. When we think about the ability to organize things, financially speaking, in a company, to ensure that the company's profit is growing, those are things that a manager is looking at. Okay, yeah. So when we think about what Rose is saying, so let's go backwards. When we think about what Rose is saying, let's think about a home environment, okay? So in a home environment, again, every house is different. Every family is different. We can't say that they're exactly the same because they're not. Okay. But, I would say in a lot of successful families where, the family, works together, it's a healthy environment. People are not fighting all the time. They're not arguing all the time. They're successful in that family environment. You have complementary roles. Okay. So, for example, the wife or the husband complement each other because, there are some cases where maybe the wife is a better planner. Okay. She is paying more attention to details. Okay. There are situations where maybe the man is the one that's primarily responsible for bringing the income. Not always, but sometimes bringing the income. So they complement each other in these roles, right?
Yes, of course.
So I think, we have to look at this, we can't say that one situation fits every family, just like we can't say that every manager is also an effective leader because some of them are very poor leaders. Okay. Yes. I think we're saying in general, these things complement each other. Let me give you an example. In a company where maybe you have poor management, I would say maybe that company is not going to be successful in the long term. But if you have strong leadership, maybe you could find a way to work through some of these challenges that you have because of poor management. Okay, so these roles often complement each other, and I think that's one of the key points. And I think Rose brings up a legitimate point because there are, not in all cases, but there are in many cases differences with our genders, right? I think it's been proven, in a lot of cases, maybe not every case, that female gender, there are certain things that women are how do I say it? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, I forgot my English. Okay, more capable of and more competent. And people would say that women in general, not every woman, but women in general tend to be more compassionate than men. Not women, but in general. Okay, yeah. So being compassionate is being part of a leader too, right? Some people would say that men maybe can be more decisive in making a decision. I don't know, maybe not. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that anytime we think about our genders, these attributes we have complement each other. And I think that's what Johnny was kind of saying earlier as well,
So,
go ahead.
So Richard, as I said that the manager have duties and skills to do his job, but their skills, they are limited when we compare it for the skills of the leader. That's the point that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. And again, to be, in Rick's opinion, to be an effective manager, first, you need to learn how to be an effective leader. To me, I've seen many managers that are good at sitting in their office and working on the computer and doing spreadsheets and this kind of stuff. But you will often find in those situations where the employees of the company have very little respect. Okay. So when it comes time for that manager to say, here's a new policy we want to implement for the company, here's a new direction we want to take for the company, often you don't get the consensus or you don't get the advocacy or the support of the employees because they don't, respect is an important part of any relationship, right? Yes. So if you don't respect somebody you're working for, okay, that creates problems. Okay. You might not like somebody, there's a lot of people that maybe I don't like, but I still respect them. Okay. And there's a difference between liking somebody and respecting them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good discussion. Okay, so who would like to go next? And welcome, TV. Who would like to go next? Anybody?
Sam? I can make only a small remark.
Sure.
In response to Samir, because sometimes there are a reversed situation when we have a great leadership, but he has a very weak managerial skills. And I can make an example in my work. There was some foreman, and now he is actually a great leader leader, and he can rule his crew very well. But when he was promoted to a higher position, he just made all work. Uh, she made a lot of faults, and he just uh, made worse all work of his division. And after that, he asked the general executive to fire him and to put him in a former position. So sometimes it's not a golden mean, because some good leaders can't be good managers.
That's, Peter, I'm thinking about when you said that, I'm thinking about a situation I know of at my other job where a similar thing happened, where I knew somebody and I've known him for a long time, and he was a very, very good leader. I mean, he worked very well with people. He was able to inspire people. And so they wanted to promote him. So they put him in a management position. And he didn't do very well in that management position. And the reason he didn't do very well was because he enjoyed working with people. He didn't enjoy sitting in an office all the time, working on spreadsheets or looking at the policies, or if you have a company that has some kind of technical product, the skills he had weren't necessarily management skills, they were leadership skills. So he felt far more comfortable working with people. So what happened in his case is very similar to what you said, is that he requested to go back to a leadership position because he felt far more comfortable in that position than he did in a management position.
Yes,
so
yes, exactly.
no, that happens a lot, actually. I think again, there are some people that we call them, people, right? that enjoy working with people a lot, but they're not so comfortable working in an environment where they're having to deal with numbers, maybe, or policies or paperwork. We often think of leaders as people that work with people. Managers work with paper. Okay.
And of course, it's better when a manager has leadership skills also too. But sometimes it's better to manage position. There's someone who don't have a lot of leader skills but has a good managerial skills.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think there are exceptions to every rule. And I used to work with some managers some years ago that were very good in both areas. They're very good at organizing policy. They're very good when it came down to the paperwork in terms of the organizational type issues. But they also had a lot of experience working with people, so they were able to do both. But not everybody's able to do both. Some people feel more comfortable in either one of those positions. So yeah, I think it comes down to the individual and whether or not the individual has those skills. And if they don't, that's okay. Not everybody is born to be a manager. Not everybody is born to be a leader. I mean, that's fine. We're all different, right? Mm-hmm. So, Thomas, is there something you wanted to say?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. I have 2 points. First, to be a good manager, it is accomplished from working a long time and from many experience. In working in a long time, okay. And from my opinion, or in my company, the most challenge face the managers how to evaluate the employee under this is the department related to this manager. So this is the most challenging thing to how to evaluate the employees in your department. This is the most challenge. And another thing I wanted to mention in this discussion, the members mentioned that the woman can be, from my opinion, the woman can be successful in organization in the house, and he can manage the activity in the house, but not related to what decided. It is not related to the decision. Who will make the decision? The husband or the woman? Okay, but we the many women can be successful in manage the house activities. Okay,
Okay.
this is all.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question about the first thing you said about evaluating employees. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. So
Yes.
you said that's one of the most challenging parts about being a manager in a company, right?
Yes.
So why is it such a challenge? Is it because you think that maybe it can create problems when you evaluate them, or you think maybe why?
Yes. I talk about my company and my country. Okay, this is make many problems, and uh, um, you can make sorry. This is how to evaluate the employee, and this is a this is very difficult thing that you can um, give the good evaluate, or the this is a good employee, or this is more effective, or this is not effective. So yes, this is do many problems, and this is very difficult thing in my company.
Okay, let me ask you another question. What kind of company is it that you work in?
This is a petroleum company.
Petroleum?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say in the company you work in,
Sorry.
okay, so let's say in the company you work in, you have a petroleum engineer or technician, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
am accountant. Okay.
okay, so if you have somebody in the company that has a job, right? There are certain things that person is required to do as part of his or her job, right?
Sorry.
So there are certain things or certain
Yeah.
tasks that that person has to do as part of his or her job, right?
Yes.
So when you evaluate somebody, you evaluate somebody on whether or not they performed the job that they're supposed to do, right?
Yes. 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 But I talk about the good evaluate. The manager didn't have not most of them, but a number of them uh, the, can't make a good evaluate. Okay. Or can't make this task in a good way.
Okay, I understand.
So
Yeah.
this is and this is evaluation affect when you hire the new grade, or
Mm,
to take a new position.
mm, mm.
Okay, if you don't if they don't evaluate you, good evaluate, or you will not hire in a good position.
Right. No, I
Yes.
understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think this is a challenge, not just in your company and in your country, Egypt, but in general. I think this is a challenge a lot of companies have, where you have quality people in an organization, and you want to find ways for them. Obviously, everybody wants to be promoted. Everybody wants to get a larger salary. That's natural. And in a company, in a traditional company where you have maybe a history, you've been there for quite a few years, and you have what we call a human resources department, right? That's responsible for hiring people when necessary, to fire people, or to handle how the organization promotes people, right? So normally in most successful companies, this human resources department has very strict criteria in terms of how people are promoted or how people are even hired, okay? And how they're evaluated, okay? So a company that does not do a good job of evaluating employees is probably a company that will not be successful in the long term, right? Let me ask Camille. Okay, so you shared a little bit about the company you work for. You gave us some feedback. So in your company, Camille, is this a problem you think in terms of how people are evaluated? Camille, are you here? Okay, maybe he's not able to speak right now. Okay, does somebody want to add a comment to what Thomas was saying? Anybody want to provide some feedback? I think that's a really good point. And part of leadership and management is making sure that the employees in a company are given those opportunities. Sam, you want to say something?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, please. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I think it's very difficult to be a great leader because there are a lot of expectations. I think you have to have a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills and experience in order to undertake tasks expected from this person. And you only can lead by an example. That's what I believe in. So you have to be motivated in order to be able to motivate your employees. You have to be you have to be persuaded. Is it correct? Persuaded by what you're doing, which means conviction plays an important role. Can you say persuaded?
Yeah,
Convinced.
Yeah,
Yes.
convinced.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you. You have to be convinced, and in order to be able to guide your team towards the vision you have, and in order to make so, you have to communicate effectively with these persons, with these employees, and you have to make them feel good, create a good environment for them, treat them well, because you can only motivate employees if they're convinced of what they are doing, and if they like their job. So and if a leader always has to be someone who wants always to learn and be hungry to be the best they can for the employees. And I think it's very difficult to be a great leader. And someone wrote in this conversation that you are born as a great leader, and I don't believe in it. I don't believe that someone can be born as a great leader. Either you learn to be a great leader or you don't. You cannot be born as a great leader. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if you agree with me.
Okay. So you bring up a very interesting point, and Sam, we've had the opportunity to have some discussions over the past couple of days about this, and we've talked quite a bit about it. And I think that something you just said a second ago is very, very true. That it is not easy to be I would call a good or effective leader, because, often, and we used the comment yesterday, leadership can be a very lonely position. Okay. Right.
Okay.
It could also be very unpopular. Sometimes as a leader, you make decisions that are not always popular with people. Right. So it's not easy. One of the things I found through my experience is that it's natural for people as human beings. We want people to like us, right? That's natural. Okay.
Yeah.
But so when we have to make a decision that people may not like us anymore, especially in a work environment, okay, it's hard. It's hard to make those kind of decisions because it's counterintuitive or contradicts what we as humans like people to like us. That's natural. So I think that that's a really good point you brought up, that there are very, very high expectations. And, that makes it a challenge. That certainly makes it a challenge, and the other points you brought up in terms of an effective leader is somebody that can convince people or influence people, to follow some kind of goal, right?
Mm.
And then also you said another important point, which is to create an environment. There's a word that I think is one of the most important words in the English language, and that's the word empower. Here, let me type it, okay? Empower, okay? Empower, okay? So when you empower somebody, you basically are allowing them to, or creating an environment where they can rise to their fullest potential, okay? So if I'm working with somebody and I see in that person the potential to be an effective leader or an effective manager, okay? It's about creating the conditions for that person to achieve that level, okay? So, empowerment is a really, really important word to know. We see that often with education, where people are empowered to gain a good education and be successful in their lives, right? We see that with our children. If you have children, we empower our children to be the best person they can be, okay, to have the highest character, okay? So the word empower, and a good leader will find a way to empower people. We talked yesterday about transformational leadership. And that's the highest level of leadership that exists. And that is basically about empowering people to reach their highest potential. Okay. It's easy. Let me tell you, I know the experience because, again, I was in the military. And in the military, it's easy to tell somebody what to do. You do this, you do that. You don't take any arguments. Nope. You do what I tell you to do, right? Okay, that's easy to do. It's easy to tell somebody what to do. What's not easy is to create the conditions that allow people to become their own person and rise to their highest potential. That's why we say it's the highest level of leadership that exists. Okay. So when you're around people, and we've all seen it, there are some people that's the way they operate. They operate very, how do I say it? Easily in that environment where all they have to do is order people. Okay. Well, maybe some people, that's a leadership style. It is. But is it the most effective leadership style? No, it's not.
Oh.
Okay? So I think that's a really good point you bring up, Sam, is that, we have to always be thinking about, how can we reach that highest level? How can we create the environment and conditions that allow people to achieve everything that they have the ability to achieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really, really important.
Also important to convince the employers in order to motivate them and to be an example as a leader. I don't believe that a successful leader is someone who tell people what they have to do. It's not. It's a leader is someone who does it. Someone who does it himself. And in order to show them his visions, his motivation, and that he's always convinced of what he's doing. He's not someone who tells, okay, you have to do this, you do that, and this is your task.
Right. Yeah, it's leadership by example. You want to set the example. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
And when we think about a leader that we respect, we often think about those kind of leaders that they're not going to tell us to do something that they are not themselves willing to do. If you have a leader that says, okay, I want you guys to work 40 hours this week, and then they decide that they don't want to hang around, right? They want to go on a vacation, right, and make everybody work late every day.
Yes.
Well, that's probably not going to be very inspiring to the people, right?
Yeah, I when I was young, I worked in such a company. Our leader was someone who told us that we have to work during. We have to work the whole day, and we are not allowed to take vacation in winter, in December, and in the summer, because he needs all his employees because he's the one who's taking vacation at this time, you know. So I think this was not fair, and all the employees they weren't motivated. They hated their job. So I mean, I worked there only for a few months, but all the other people who worked there for I don't know how many years, they didn't like their job. They didn't do their best. So just went there to earn some money, and they were also looking for another job at the same time. So.
Well, yeah, and that's taking a very short-term view. When you look at things short-term, you think about immediate results, right? So you guys are going to stay here and work this week, and I'm going to go on a long vacation, just so maybe I can meet my production goal, okay, or I can meet some kind of goal. But it's a short-term view, because exactly what you said, that the next time you might ask people to hang around, they might say, you know what, no, I don't think so, okay?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So no, that's a very, very good point you bring up. Very good point. Thank you, Sam. Really good, really good. And again, I like it when you guys use examples because it makes it, it's not so abstract. We can actually connect to that. So I really like it when you guys are using these kind of examples. So Jamie, you have something you want to say?
I was going to say, yeah. I was just thinking, as you're thinking about examples, I hate to be religious, but Jesus was a very good leader. I mean, no one could question him. But I think what makes a good leader, this is what I'm going to say, Stark. If the person, is knowledgeable about, the way certain things work and doesn't falter, then they'll be a good leader. But also, at another point, leadership can be thrust upon a person, but they still can succeed because let's say you're president of a country, and then something happens to you, and your vice president has to take over. If the vice president watched the way you governed the country or whatever, and followed your example, then they'll probably either use your examples and finish do an exemplary work as you did, or they could make their own path. But hopefully that if they follow your example, then they'll be as good a leader as you were. So yeah, it can work, and can work both ways. That's the way I see it.
Okay. How about the thank you, Jamie. How about this? Let me ask you guys a question. So how about Jamie, can you mute your mic, please?
Sure.
So how about the situation where you have children? Now, some of us here have children, some don't. But when we have children, is this something that you think about with your children that, what are some of the things that you would do, with your children? What are some of the skills that you would teach them growing up if you want them to be a leader or to have leadership qualities? What are some of the things that we can pass on or provide guidance to with respect to our children? Or do you think that maybe we should not even do anything? In other words, it's up to them if they want to be in that kind of position one day. What do you guys think?
Respect, compassion, trust. I mean, respect is a big thing, because if you don't show respect, then you won't be shown respect. And if you don't show trust, if you don't give trust, then you won't be trusted. Because who wants a wishy-washy leader? Who wants a leader who's a total jerk? Not anyone I know. I think respect and trust and also loyalty. Those are the big ones. Those are the big things that make a good leader. To be able to be respected, trusted, and be loyal to them.
Okay. Okay. So there's another word we haven't talked about when it comes to leadership, and TB, we haven't heard from you yet. So I'd if you want to pop in and say something, you're more than welcome. But how about the word humility? Because we often hear with leaders, I wouldn't call them leaders. There are some people in positions of authority that would say, I'll never apologize for something, right? I'm not going to apologize for something. Okay. How important is humility in leadership? How important is that trait? Somebody want to say something that hasn't spoken yet? Go ahead, Johnny.
I already spoke. So
well, we'll see if somebody else want to speak up on that. If not, then how important is humility? Go ahead.
I would
Go ahead.
say not so much. Not so much. Not in my opinion, but as history shows, it's not that much important. There have been some very horrible leaders who got to be leaders. They were not necessarily either humble or even good people. So I would say that's.
But they weren't good leaders either.
There are. I mean,
so they failed
many people
eventually.
in history who were leaders who got to make their people to do whatever he wanted or to share his visions or his aim, his goal, but he was not necessarily, or he or she was not necessarily a good person or humble or, I mean.
But not long term. This was in a short time, and then they failed.
Well,
after that was either a revolution or war or whatever.
Well, I can think of one leader who was so successful and so effective that he made an entire nation to think in the same way that he was thinking, to share his vision, to share his goal, his passion. And even after he died, people still share those things, still wanted to follow his last word and do everything he wanted them to do. I can think of one person at least.
Who is it?
I think I know who it is.
Yeah, you know it.
Who is it?
Yeah, well, he's talking about Hitler, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Sorry,
He's talking about Jesus.
Hitler. But it has about who?
Hitler.
Hitler,
the German dictator.
Yeah.
Really? But it has nothing to do with being a good leader. He can speak very well, convince people. Rhetoric. Can you say rhetoric? It's his. It was his talent. He can talk to no matter who, which person. No matter I forgot, my English is so bad. He could say whatever, but he's still able to convince every person because he knows how to talk to people, how to use words, and this is why he became successful.
Well, okay, so let me jump. Let me jump in here real quick because I think there's a difference between being a leader and being a good leader. Okay.
And a manipulator.
and I would not call the person you call a good leader because
he was a dictator.
Jimmy, let me finish.
Good leader. I would say an effective leader because the word good will be very much relative. I wouldn't put things in either good or bad. I would not use those words.
Well, I will, and the reason I say I will is because
Richard, I'd like to make a question to you.
Rashid, wait, please. Okay. So what I would say is a good leader is somebody that inspires people towards a positive goal. Okay, that's Rick's definition. Now it may not be everybody's definition. That's my definition. So good leadership, okay, is something where you inspire people toward. Now it could be you work in a company, you inspire them to meet a production limit for some kind of product. Okay, it could be working with an organization where you inspire people to achieve some kind of goal. I would put people such as the person you mentioned in the category of people that were manipulators. I would put them in a category of people that were not anything I would ever aspire to be. Okay, ever. Okay.
Right. But that's the thing.
So
he was convincing people that his goals were good. That's the thing.
Well, he was an effective. Yeah, he was an effective. I would agree he was effective because he was.
Yeah, but he was a dictator.
Okay, but again, when I use the adjective good, okay, I know people may not agree with that adjective, but I use it because my definition of good leadership is are leaders that inspire people towards a positive goal. I do not consider him in that category. So, and I also would agree that when we think about long term, we think about how you inspire people over time. Obviously, that didn't work out so well for him, did it? Okay, so
that's what I was talking about. Maybe he was successful, but not in the long run. But because afterwards, a lot of people were able to, or were not convinced of what he was doing, you know. And the same goes for other dictators in a lot of different countries. Like in the Dominican Republic, he was also as Hitler or even worse. And a lot of people did what he said, and but eventually they killed him. So you can.
No, he killed himself. He killed himself.
Did he kill himself? I think someone shot him.
No. He killed himself. He killed himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, he successful. Maybe for a short-term success. That's what he had, and that's it. I think it's a question or a matter of time. We fail across years.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with Johnny. I mean, Hitler was an effective leader, yes, but he was also despotic. I believe what Rick's trying to advocate are positive leaders. I can think of another one. I'm sure Rick would agree. That's from our own country. But he didn't have. He wasn't aspiring to greatness, but he became great in his own right, and probably the most American of all time. What about George Washington? George Washington.
Yeah, no, I think there are people that before we go any further, I know Rashid had a question, so I want to Rashid. Sure. Did you want to say something, Rashid? I know you had a question. Rashid, are you here, Rashid?
Hello.
Okay, go. Oh wait, hang on 1 second, Steve. Go ahead, Rashid. What was your question?
Already I messaged my.
Okay.
I put my question on the chat.
Well, yeah, I think diplomacy is certainly any part of leadership, because let's think about the word diplomacy. You know, its ability to interact. Right. What's required of a good diplomat? Okay. Effective communication skills, right? You cannot be an effective diplomat unless you have strong communication skills, right? So I think yes, certainly diplomacy is a critical part of leadership. It's about understanding different people's positions, you know, listening to what they have to say, you know, and then finding a way to work with different parties that may have competing interests to come up with a common approach, right? That's basically a diplomat, right? So yeah, I think diplomacy is certainly a part of leadership, you know, and we see that it doesn't have to be, you know, we think of diplomacy, we think about the State Department or United Nations. No, you could be a diplomat at work, right? you could be a diplomat at home, okay, right? You know.
Hello. Actually, Richard, what I think sometime, you know, nowadays, even in family, even among the relatives, many types of political issues happen. I mean, suppose one of my it can happen to anyone. It can happen to my uncle. It may happen to my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and father-in-law. And suppose they're trying to do something which will not be good for us, and we have to understand what is doing and what is and suppose anyone among the relatives can misguide me. Okay, you do not do this, you should not do that, you should not run your family that way and this way. So I have to and suppose for maintaining relationship, I mean for continuing relationship with others, sometimes I need to be very much balanced, you know. Suppose in Asia, suppose most cases happen in the country, in developing countries, that is when a man marry to a girl, he, his wife cannot adjust with her mother-in-law, and sometimes mother-in-law cannot adjust with her with his wife. Sometimes the man's mother say, "Oh, you are nowadays you are very much. You are very much." You are very much getting weak to your wife. You don't so much attentive. You are not so much attentive to our interests. You always attentive to the interest of your wife. It is not, and same thing happened even to in terms of his wife, and his wife also give him allegation. Put allegation against him that you are not so much. You don't favor me. You always favor your mother. So sometimes we need to be very much technical, and many things. Someone try to misguide us. Misguide us. Many things can be happen. So I think sometimes diplomacy is necessary. Can be necessary in our personal lives also.
Well, I think part of I think that some of the things you're talking about have to do with maybe some cultural values, your personal values, and those kind of things. I think that again, we all come from different countries. We all have our own beliefs and our own values about the difference between right and wrong, and about relationships, whether it's our husband, our wife, or whether it's our parents, our uncles, our aunts, etc. At the end of the day, I believe that everybody should be heard. If somebody has something, let me give you an example. It's not exactly the same, but it is similar. So I have a very strong disagreement with my uncle and my aunt, okay, that I love very, very much, about certain things, okay? Very, very, very strong disagreement, okay? I still love them. They're still my uncle and aunt, but I can talk to them. I can listen to what they have to say. I don't agree with it, but I'll still listen to them out of respect, and they will listen to me. And I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. We're never going to agree with each other, even family, right? And often in family, we see it the worst, okay? But that doesn't change the relationship. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and thank you, Rashid. Let's go to Saif. I think Saif wanted to say something. Saif, you want to say something? Saif?
Yes, I want to say that Johnny said that Hector was effectively, and don't forget that we have brutal dictators where in the world, and up to now we have them. They are very active, but they are the bloodiest people and very, very, very dictators in the world. So, and as well, we have very good leaders, I think, like Nelson Mandela in Africa, and Reagan, I think, when he was a president of America. So sometimes you have bad leaders, and sometimes you have good leaders as well.
Yeah, I know. I like I said, I would agree with that. I think it's interesting you think about it. That we have our own ideologies, right? I think we all know what ideology means, right? Or the way we believe, our ideas, okay? And of course, we're all different, okay? So we might have our own views about it, okay? But I think in general, again, we have to sometimes generalize because not every situation is exactly the same. Most people would say a good leader is somebody that inspires people to achieve their greatest potential, okay, in a positive way, okay? So most people would say that. And yeah, I mean, you could talk about Nelson Mandela is a good example, Martin Luther King in my country. We said yesterday, people like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, people that inspire others. Okay, that is to me, the greatest leaders unite people. They bring people together because what they do is they look at the commonality or what we share in common as the most important part, not what makes us different, but what brings us together. They focus on that part. Now, yeah, we're all different, right? We have different religions. Some people are not religious. Some people are religious. We come from different countries. We speak different languages in some cases. Okay, so yeah, we are different. But a good leader will find what unites us, what we share in common, and use that as a foundation. Okay, that's what a good leader will do, and work with people and inspire them to achieve positive things. Okay, whether it has to do with the environment, whether it has to do with social issues. Okay, that is, in my opinion, a good leader. So who would like to go next? Who hasn't gone yet? Who would like to go ahead, Yassine? Go ahead. Go ahead, Yassine. Go ahead.
I want to say something about the topic of today. Yeah, I have a set of qualities of a leader, and I really I measured you, Rick, against these measures, and I find you that you are really an effective leader.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. As I said before, yesterday I said that a good leader should be an effective influencer. And I believe that every leader should have a story that would change his perspective of life in a very drastic way. And I believe, Rick, you experienced like very hardships in your life that made you change your perspective and the way you think about life. And you decided to start a company that would help people to achieve their dreams. So a good influencer, how could be a leader to be a good influencer? I think there are some. First, influence whom? Of course, influence his followers. So in order to influence his followers, he should meet some requirements that I believe should be in a leader. The first thing that he should have or pass or remove is the wall of self-preservation. He should make his followers feel that they are really matters and he is really interested in their. He wants them to. He wants to help them to fulfill or achieve their goals. And the thing he would do is to make them trust him. He should should be trustworthy and also trust them. The second thing is credibility. A good leader, an effective leader, should be wise. First of all, he should have a good knowledgeable about the theories of leadership. Yeah, and he should be wise, which means that he should have experience, first-hand experience in that area. Also, intention is very important because a leader should not be manipulative person. He should have good intention, positive intentions. Another thing is that he should have vision, very long forward vision that he believe not like the manager. Also, I want to say that a good leader should empower in power in order to liberate his followers, not overpower and dominate, because it is because he, at the end of the day, he wants his followers to be productive and creative. And yeah, for the management is between styles of managing. Yeah, first the leadership should like have relational style, and the management should have transactional style, which means that not should, but it is about transactional style. So at the end, I would say that there is a very important difference, which is about I mean, the end of, or the goals of both leadership and management. The leadership aims at longer term fulfillment, and management aimed at short term fulfillment. And this is my just my own I deduced. No?
Yeah. Yassine, it was a little hard to hear part of what you said because of connection, but I think we got the general idea of what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we got so that was good feedback, and I know that you said something that is important, and I'm not sure that we've really talked a lot about what you just said, which is a leader is somebody that's visionary, right?
Yeah,
they're looking at where a organization or a group of people need to go or should go. Okay, so that's a visionary part. Whereas a manager is managing the operations, sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis, right? So that is a good point of differentiation between the two. So thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
I would like to answer a question regarding humility, or do you want to continue with something else?
No, go ahead.
In my opinion, humility plays a very important role for leaders and also for other people. I think, especially for a leader who is humble can be open to others' opinion. He gives others a voice, his employees, and he also shows that, or he's able to show that he cares about the environment, about the other people, the way they think, and about their feelings. And I think humility is also the key to admitting mistakes. I mean, no one is perfect, and we know that, right. And we know also that our leader won't do everything in a perfect way.
Right.
And a leader who admits his mistakes, I think he makes his employees feel more comfortable. They don't feel under pressure because they know that they will do their best, but they are going to do mistakes anyway. So they are not going to lose their job or something. And so I think it's important to be transparent and open.
Yep.
And to engage in reflection or reflect.
Yep. You said something. You've got a lot of good ideas, Sam. That others have shared as well, and you have brought up that, if we think about the characteristics of people in our lives, think about people we've met in our lives or people that we've worked for in our lives, think about the people that have had the most impact on us, okay? And often you'll find, when you really think about that very carefully, you'll find these characteristics of those people, right? Because I completely 100% agree that, somebody that can't admit they made a mistake, even as a leader, okay, is somebody that's not being honest with themselves, much less anybody else, okay? So the ability to say, I'm sorry, the ability to say, I made a mistake, okay, is to me one of the top characteristics of an effective. It doesn't mean you're weak. That means you're a human being. Okay, that's what it means. Okay,
If
and
I
we
can
have to.
like jump in, like sorry.
Yeah, let
If I
me.
can jump
I'm
in,
almost.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
almost finished, Jamie.
Okay.
Let me. Okay, so I think those characteristics. And you also said being open, and also what we call introspective. Okay,
Yes.
so when you are introspective, right, we are self-reflective. We think about who we are. We think about decisions we make, and it doesn't mean that you're always questioning yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't have confidence. Okay, but a good leader can be very confident and sure of themselves and recognize, again, they're not perfect. Okay, so that's really important. Yeah, Albir, hang on one second. Jamie, go ahead real quickly, and then Albir can go. Jamie, are you here?
Yeah. First, I have to disagree with something Yassine said. It's gone. I don't think fellows should be made to do something that the leader said. They should do it on their own free will. And before Abir goes, I'd like to give my friend Hideki a chance to speak. So Hideki, go ahead.
Well, wait. Abir hasn't spoken yet.
I said that after Abir.
Yeah. Abir hasn't spoken yet. So we'll go ahead and let her say something. Then definitely we're okay. Okay. So let me do this. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So Abir, go ahead and speak up, please.
Okay. So my opinion about my leadership. Well, leadership is about leading people and walking behind them before walking in front of them. Leaders are never afraid of adversity. They know that things will not always be good and go well, and that failure might happen now or later. But still they accept failure and try to make the best of it. Yeah. So I won't hesitate to say that many people that think and believe that an effective leader is simply being the first, the best, the biggest, or the most powerful person. But hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Abir. We hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but for me, my number one belief is that a leader is a servant. Yeah. A leader is someone who set directions with an effort and influence and motivate people to follow those directions. I believe in that. So yeah, last but not least, the very important thing for me in a leader is to be able to make their followers feel satisfied and happy and not frustrated. They must learn to praise others, to share the credit, and to give credit when it's due. So if you are a leader and you try to take credit for everything, you will not lead. You will only defeat and put a stop to those who follow you. Yeah, so I believe this is my vision about leadership, about management. What I think the difference between manager and a leader is like the manager has no vision. Like he just managed the thing, and he just focus on the present. However, the leader has a vision, and he or she like work for the future and think about the future. For example, manager can manage and just like stay in stability way, but leader take risks. So he like changes, he like to challenge himself, he like to do new things. But manager just stay in like simple thing and still. Yeah, so that's my opinion.
Okay, very, very well put, Abir. Very well put. And you said something You said something that I think is really important. That an effective leader or a good leader. I'll use the word good. Is somebody that doesn't have to be constantly reinforced. They don't have to. They're confident. They're confident about who they are. They don't need people to make them feel good, right?
Yeah.
And you'll find that some people that are in leadership positions, I wouldn't call them good leaders, but people that are in leadership positions constantly need praise. Okay, they need people to tell them how good they are and everything else. Again, a good leader is somebody that knows what they're capable of doing, that has confidence about their abilities, and wants people to succeed. They want people around them to succeed. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, good, very good, well done, Abir.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so Hiroki, did you want to go ahead and tell us what you think, Hiroki?
Yes, I don't have a concrete idea because it can be said anything, but maybe leader. At first, I want to define a good leader or bad leader. Maybe some quality people can be called as a leader, or they actually got the position and the political power, but they cause the negative consequences. And but I think a good leader won't do such things. But maybe, especially in the political world, maybe most politicians or so-called politicians, so-called kind of leader probably in the society and on politically. Some are not manipulative, so they use a lot of technique to manipulate people. But if it causes a positive effect to the society, to the people, and maybe they can be a good leader. Also, how can I say? In my definition, good leader maybe make people be more creative or encourage people and make a decision in accordance with their whole, how can I say, condition. So he or she have to do a lot of things actually, and maybe because the leader has a responsibility. So and people expect leader, but blind expectation to leaders from people sometimes causes a negative effect. So I was thinking a lot of kind of fragment thought, listening to other people's talking here. Thank you.
Okay, Hiroki. So let me ask you a question, Hiroki. So when you say blind, I think you said blind expectations, right?
Kind of, yes.
What do you mean by that?
Because sometimes clearly now it is happening in the U.S. So leader is agitated a lot, and in a short time it can work, but I don't think it causes a lot of positive.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay,
I believe what he's trying to say is blind trust, Rick.
Maybe yes.
People who are so blinded by the person, but they can't really make sense of what's right and what's wrong. Right. That's what he meant.
Okay, good. Yeah, and I think that's a good point. That's a good point that we need to be when we choose to follow somebody, or I don't say follow somebody, when we choose to follow some vision, okay? Because really, if you think about a leader, it's really not about that individual. It's about the vision that they represent, right? That's really what it comes down to, okay? So let's remove the person from the equation. Think about the vision for a second. So when people, choose to follow a vision, they should do it in a way that they think it through, okay? Like you said, don't blindly follow something just because everybody else is following. Okay, use that brain that you have in your head. Okay, use the heart. Listen to what your heart's telling you about the right thing to do. Right. And this comes down to something we talked about last week with our ethics and our morals and our values. Okay, when you choose to follow a vision, what you're saying is, okay, I'm going to take the things I believe in. I'm going to take the values, the morals, the principles I have, and I'm going to put them on that path because that's the vision I believe in, okay, as well. So we have to be really careful about that. And it's not saying that it's right or wrong. It's just saying that we have to think very carefully about that kind of thing. We saw in, Jimmy, was it Guyana, maybe 15, 20 years ago, there was a cult. I forget.
Yeah, Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Yeah, there you go.
Suriname, I think it was Suriname. No, Guyana.
Yeah. So maybe 15, 20 years ago, there was this guy called Jim Jones that I think he had 400 or 500 people. He was basically a cult. He had his own. He was
crazy. He was crazy.
So basically, in that situation, he had this group of 400 or 500 people follow him to the Guyana in South America. And he had convinced them that he was this messenger from God or something. I don't know. He had convinced them that he was like it. And at the end of that, they end up all committing suicide, poisoning themselves. It was like 500 people died, okay? And they drank this poison and killed themselves, okay? All because he led them, okay? And he had, I'll call it brainwash, manipulate, whatever the right word is. But it's really a horrible tragedy that occurred. And we see this all the time. We see people follow someone blindly, okay? And they don't think for themselves, okay? They don't think about their values, their morals, and how do those values and morals and principles align to whatever vision this person is trying to promote. So those things are important. That's actually a very important point, Hiroki. Very, very important point you bring up. Good job.
Thank you.
Very important.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you were basically.
Oh my gosh, she speaks.
Yeah, I speak. I listened a lot, so I would like to speak. So you were talking about these 500 people, and you were basically saying, okay, that was not their vision. How could you know? How do you know that maybe they did that because they were convinced? And when someone is convinced, that means they believe in something. That was their vision, right?
Well, because there was an investigation into it. And they looked into everything that happened, and a lot of these people felt as though they had left notes, they had left evidence that they felt manipulated. Okay, some of them felt tricked. Okay, but no, I understand your point. The vast majority of them, obviously, they did this. Okay, and because they believed in what the vision was that this guy was selling them. Okay.
I think this is very interesting because, from the beginning, I was listening very carefully to everyone's opinion. And to me, since the beginning, we were talking about the leader. And no one can be a leader if people actually don't follow them, if I can say that, between brothers. Because you cannot be a leader by yourself. Just speak. You need people. You need to inspire people. You need a group of people. You need an audience, right? So to me, talking about, okay, are you a good leader? How can you be? What can you do to be a good leader? What kind of skills do you need to have? Can you learn them? Or do you need to have them? They should be innate. To me, this is looking at just one, the coin has two sides. This is to me looking at one side of the coin, because to me, first of all, I thought Johnny brought up maybe controversial, but a very interesting point, because I would say, my opinion, that anyone can be a leader. They just need the right circumstances. They just need the right context. And they just need to find the need. For example, if we think about Hitler, he was a smart person, obviously. He was not stupid. And he just came in a moment where people were weak, there was a need, and people were looking what needed someone to bring something new. So, and actually he came with a vision, with a lot of promises, and people followed him. So to me, we can consider him as being a leader. Whether good or bad, that's another question. But he was, smart enough. He had the charisma. He had enough skills, because to me, to convince millions of people, okay, come on, you have to do it. You have to be smart. You have to have the skills. That's not something, of course, he had, an army behind him. He was not alone. He had a lot of people helping him to spread his vision. But I do think that, yes, he did it. And to me, you can inspire people for good and for bad. And since the beginning, we were talking about you need to be a good leader. You need. We were kind of judgmental. What style of leadership was the best? And to me, they are all applicable. It just depends on the situation. It just depends on the circumstances, and it depends on the people, because people are receptive to different kind of leadership styles. Maybe I can be more receptive to a democratic leadership style, and someone else will not. So I think this is, we are treating this topic from just one perspective, and going back to gender and what the role of gender in leadership positions and also decision making. I do think the only difference is perspective. And women can be very good leaders. And actually, a lot of researches prove that they can be better leaders than men. They just don't have the confidence. Society didn't give them for example, in society, even now, I guess the degree is kind of different. Women, they do have ambition, but it's still problematic, because when women if she has too much ambition, it's not good. It's not okay. So we have, for example, we just, society didn't teach women that it's okay to be a leader. It's okay to have ambition. You can do it. But men, they were taught that since they were born. Okay, you are a guy, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. Society allows you to do that. But women, no. So I just think the difference, that's the only difference. Women just don't have the confidence, and maybe they don't have the right platform to do that and to perform. So I just want to say, just to close this long opinion, that to me, there are different leadership styles. People are receptive to different kinds of leadership styles. So to me, whether you are a good leader or you are trying to be a leader, you just need to understand your audience. You just need to understand the need, and then you can try or you can learn to apply the right style. Because you need people to be receptive in order to be a successful leader too. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
I have a kind of comment or a question. I don't know.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, she said a very hasty statement. She said that women proved to be very, better leaders than men. Based on what? Based on it, women.
Well, we would.
Look, just another thing. This is the first thing, and the second thing, she said that in the same talk, she just contradicted herself, and she said that women that. They are just not confident, which is very significant quality that any leader must have. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamil. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Actually, you don't need to be overconfident to be an effective leader. Sometimes you need to be quiet. Some leaders, they are loud. So other leaders are quiet. You can inspire people by being very humble. We were talking about humility, and you can be humble or you can inspire people. But you can be loud, and people can hear you. You can kind of how can I say that? People are excited when they see someone dynamic, very confident, right? So it's very inspiring. But some other people, they are very humble, like Mother Teresa, like Gandhi, like, I mean, a lot of people, they were very quiet, very humble, but people were inspired. And about gender, I'm not actually making up things. If you would like, I can share an article with you. It's about the capacity. I was just saying women can do a job. And based on research, actually, women, I mean, there were studies, okay? Study is very scientific. They showed that they can perform better. Because let's say we were talking about leadership styles, and women tend to be more democratic. And also, we were talking about do you think it's important for a leader to have this ability to apologize? Actually, in many cases, men don't, and women, they do. It's not that they are just more. Of course, emotional, yes, they are. Sensitivity has a role, but they just are harsh on themselves. So they don't have a problem with apologies. And if you look at, I mean, a lot of studies, men have challenges with this kind of. I mean, apologizing is very hard for men. It's not so harsh for women.
Proven by studies that apologizing is hard for men. Oh, okay.
Yes, actually, yes.
I think again, yeah, Jamila, you contradicted yourself. I mean, you said each certain group of people have a suitable type of or style of leadership that suits them. And again, and you said that the study that showed that women are more democratic in their style of leadership. So.
Well, that was just an example. Just an example. I cannot actually state the whole article because they were saying women are more democratic, collaborative, transformational. I mean, yeah. I mean, the vast majority maybe is more receptive to this kind of leadership styles.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's give Mila's here. Mila hasn't had a chance to speak. There's a couple people here that haven't had a chance to speak. Mila, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, guys, but I'm so excited to listen to you.
Well, tell us what you think. Share with us what you think, please.
I just can add only, I think that I can judge, for example, that leader is better than manager. I mean, the role to be a leader is better than manager. Both roles are very important in any company, in any society, because leader is one who is looking forward, who is going forward, right? But manager, it seems to me, a person who master each step. For example, if you'd like to reach the top of a mountain, each step is important, and manager help to hold hold your success on this step, right, and master this situation. And it seems to me the most important for me, the most important difference between leader and manager, that manager is always need a team, need some people, some group of people with whom he could communicate, right? With whom he could work. But leader, I know that, yes, I agree that a leader needs followers. So without followers, we cannot say that this person is a leader. But it seems to me, firstly, you should be a leader, and then followers appear. So a leader can be without even followers for some periods. And I can't provide you any examples, but I think there are a lot of examples in history when people they couldn't recognize geniuses, right? Couldn't recognize some really gifted people and also leaders, but they prove that they are leaders without any followers, and followers appeared. something like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Mila, I've got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So, hey, Samir, please. Okay, I'm gonna remove Johnny. I'm gonna remove Samir for now. Okay, because he's over and over again. I don't know what the problem is with the mic, but anyway. So Mila, let me ask you a question. Samir. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, Richard.
You need to keep you listen, please. You need to keep your microphone muted, okay? If you're not speaking, okay? It makes it very difficult for us to hear people when we have a lot of noise, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me Mila, let me ask you a question. So as a teacher, some people might say that you would be naturally have some leadership skills, right? Because obviously as a teacher, you're inspiring your students, right?
Right.
You're trying to help them achieve some goal, to learn something, right? Gain some knowledge about something, right? So people would say that as a teacher, you inherently need to have some leadership skills. Would you agree with that?
It seems to me that it's better to have some coach skills for teachers. Leadership, teachers should be very interesting person for his or her students. This is the most important thing. I'm not sure about leader skills, coach skills, because coach skills, they can help open something which hidden inside each pupil. I cannot understand how leader skills can help in this. My main goal is to help each pupil understand what for they exist, maybe what do they want to do to understand them, not just to make them leaders or something like that. I'm not a leader. It seems to me I'm not a leader, but I'd like to be a coach.
So let me ask you a question, okay? Okay, so do you feel like you inspire your students to learn? Do you feel like that's part of your job?
I'm not inspired. I just burn them the interest. I create some tasks, and they ask me. I cannot just come to the class and provide some materials that won't work in my classes, maybe.
Okay.
They won't listen to me. They want to play. They want to crawl. But I should give them something that stick their attention to me.
Okay. So forget about the word inspire. Think about the word encourage. Do you encourage your students to succeed in the task that you give them?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So the answer is yes. Okay. So number two, do you feel like you communicate with your students? Obviously you do, because if you're communicating with them, or if you're encouraging them, you're communicating, right? Okay. Do you want to see them achieve some kind of goal? I think so. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I think that you are defining, you just said yes to some of the leadership skills that leaders have, right?
Okay.
Okay. So my point is that everybody has a different view of what a leader is. That's why there are leadership styles. There's the coaching style, okay, which is what you're suggesting that you use in a classroom. There is the authoritative style or the commanding style that you will see maybe in the military or in a police department, okay, or with some bosses, okay. There is the pace setter that's basically setting a standard and setting the example for others to follow, okay. There's diplomatic, where you want to get everybody's feedback before you make a decision about something, okay. So my point is this, we don't give ourselves credit many times for being a leader, even though we are practicing pretty much every day some aspect of a leadership skill, okay? If you call your family and you say, hey, I'm thinking about going on vacation. Do you guys want to go? Let's set up a schedule for that, when we're going to go. That is a form of leadership skill, okay? Okay?
Okay.
So give yourself, what I'm trying to say is, don't think that, none of us are Gandhi, none of us are Mother Teresa, none of us are Martin Luther King, okay, or Nelson Mandela, okay? Okay, we are who we are, but give ourselves some credit for having some leadership skills. Okay, all right.
Right.
That's my point. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mila. Okay.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay. We're gonna wrap up, but we want to give everybody that hasn't spoken yet. So I think Bubuti, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I hope I would, but because you know what, my internet isn't so good this time. I don't know why.
Well, let's just try.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? The topic is very interesting because it is related to leadership and what the characteristic of leadership of a leader are. And I think the document that I have learned the first time, that is very interesting because it make it very easy to, despite the fact that there are some common rules that are common in any leaders, but every leader is at the same time is different from the other. And I think it is that is the equation that you have to resolve in order to understand what is the leader, what is the leader, the real leader, despite the fact that they are sharing some common goal or some common characteristic. Everyone is different from the other. And I think it is that what is make it very interesting to be a leader, because when you take a leader from any part, even for two companies or from two families who are living next door each other, everyone is different from other, but they share the same thing by dealing well, by getting things done in time, and dealing with other people, allowing these other people who are under their authority to thrive and to make the best of them. And I think that is very important from leadership. And as you said, that is something that we can't learn or we can't study from school, but we have to know we have to have some basic in order to be a leader. Because when you aren't educated, when you don't know anything about anything else, or you haven't learned about any other leader, I think even if you have those values that are intrinsic to you, you can't be an effective leader, because you don't know about the other, how they have dealt with the similar problem or similar situation in which you are right now, or you might be in your future. And I think it is very interesting to learn or to be aware of all of this in order to be an effective leader, leading in an effective way.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Babuti. Thank you very much. Good feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let me go to, I think, Mary. Would you like to say something, Mary?
Yes. Hello.
Hey, Mary.
I'm Nate. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yep, we hear you.
Thank you. I'm Nate, so I try to be quiet. Okay. Thank you for giving me a chance. For me, I guess being an effective leader must have the ability to make decisions very quickly, to make command quickly, and of course, he or she has to find where problems are and find people to solve the problem, to order the people, to make the group, the amount of people to do things together, and of course, the leadership must inspire people to do things, make a lot of people to do things in the same direction. A group should not go apart, right? And difference between management. A management must do what maybe his leader enforce his leader's decisions. Of course, sometimes a manager has to make decisions maybe for the goal to reach the goal. He needs to make decisions himself, and because a leader, effective leader, do not know every step of the goal. He just he or she just needs to get to make the goal, but he needs people to enforce the every to operate every step to reach the goal. I don't know what else. I am limited by my poor vocabulary and of course my poor knowledge, right?
Oh, Mary, you do a good job. Okay, you do a good job, Mary. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's interesting. We have to go shortly, but because you said something, I think that's pretty interesting. That we'll talk more about this in the future. But good feedback. Good information, Mary. Good job. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to make sure that the folks that haven't had a chance, I don't think Camille, we heard from you yet. Camille, would you like to say something, please?
So maybe a few words about
Sure.
the leaders. Yeah. So I think generally the women and the men can be the good leaders. And as you said, before, the leaders need the people to follow. So I wondered why it is in that way. So probably the people are quite lazy. They don't know to make decision. So it's better to follow someone than think about my future by myself. So what I can do, where I should follow, if I'm going wrong or right. Someone can said that this I should do, so it's easier. So okay, I will do this, and I will believe that this direction is good. So what more I can say? That generally said about the all things that leaders should be trustworthy, that people follow leaders in other ways. So we have the leaders in work, in life. Yeah. So generally I don't have much to add.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Well, you said that people who follow leader, they are lazy, and I don't believe in that, because I believe that every one of us needs a role model, so an inspiration in his life. And I think it has nothing to do with being lazy. I think it's when someone is ambitious, I think it looks up to someone.
Yes, of course.
Already
Yes.
paved the way, you know.
Yeah, it's right, but it's easier to follow for someone than by myself to looking for the direction. Maybe leaders. I don't know, because maybe I'm not leader. If leader is the person who always know, maybe from I don't know. Has some intuition or something. Whoever is sure about his where he is going, or maybe he also have doubts. Yes, he thinks maybe I'm going wrong. Maybe so many people is following me. Maybe I don't sure what will be next. Or the leader is person who is always sure. I don't know.
But following a leader doesn't mean that's something easy, because I mean, leaders, they are people who've already paved the way, and the follower, they have to do a lot of work. to follow this way, you know, maybe even more than a leader, because the leader has also already done something, I don't know what, but the followers, they also have to create, I don't know, everyone shines in a different way. The other one has talent in this job, the other in
Yeah,
other.
okay, but I understand. But even if you can compare this with a job leader, yes, you have the leader, so you don't have to think what the company should, if I could sign this contract, if I should, what I should do to sell more. Only you just coming to the work, and leader is saying you should do this. Okay, I will do this. It's fine. Yes, I do my best, but you don't have to think that about strategy, about the future. Yes, you only follow the leader. It's on example of the work. I don't say about the life. Yes, maybe in the life, it's the true.
But it depends on the job.
Yes, of course. In always the things depend on. So I think this maybe too generally. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You can strive for a better position, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, because I know the people.
And you become also a leader in your company, but in order to become a leader, you have to be a follower of a leader in order to replace him after, I don't know.
Yes, there are many kinds of people. Yeah? So also in my work, if we have a leader, for example, some people talk with him why he's doing that. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should think about it. And the other people, they don't bother. Yeah? They need only go to work. Okay, work 8 hours. He said that I should do this. Okay, so I will do. Maybe not even my best. Okay, I will try. Okay, it's 5 p.m. So bye. And there are many of people. Yeah, so it depends on the person as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to. I've got to get going, but I want to say something. It was really nice to see a lot of people from Europe here. Oh my gosh, Germany, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, France. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Huh? So no, seriously. Huh?
What about Africa?
No, well, we always have Africa, okay?
Okay.
You guys, you guys are very reliable. Okay, and China, and Asia too, and Japan, and everywhere. Okay, so it's really, but no, I was joking around. It's really good. First of all, thank you everybody for participating. I know Rifat, we didn't get a chance to have you, but I really have to get going somewhere. I would like to thank everybody that participated. I thought it was a really good discussion. You guys all brought up a lot of really great points. Johnny did set this up for recordings. So you can listen to yourselves. You want to listen to yourselves discussing some points. Okay. And remember, tomorrow we have the debate. It's about whether leaders are born or whether they're made. So if you want to participate in the debate tomorrow, think about the position you want to take for this. And in the meantime, I wish all of you a good evening or a good afternoon. I don't think anybody is the same time zone as me, so I can't say good morning, okay? But I wish all of you are safe, healthy, and happy, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Richard.
Huh?
When is the scheduled time tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're starting, let me think, 6, well, for you, it's going to be 10 p.m., Shirdian.
So in 6 a.m.
6 a.m. for me.
Pacific time?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
6 a.m. for California time.
6 a.m. for California time. Yes. Oh my gosh. You guys could all come at 6 a.m. Okay. Okay. All of you, take care of yourselves. Okay. Be safe. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.